For the first time in 46 years, the best of the best in the Sports Car Club of America return to the West Coast for the club's annual one-race battle for the title of champion in 27 classes. This year's three-day duel for the medals brings over 400 racers to California's Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca on the stunning Monterey Peninsula. It's time to seriously step up at the 2014 and 51st SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Well, it is time for the race to the medals in the GT2 category, Grand Touring 2 at the 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. First time the Runoffs have been on the West Coast in some 46 years. GT2, a category that has been raced for a long time, evolved out of C production, B sedan, now part of GT2. And one of the great stories in that is the variety of machinery that takes part. Now, I'm Greg Creamer, Jeff Lepper alongside, but the gentleman who's been here this whole week just sort of sussing out some of the amazing stories, and boy did he find one for this class, is Hayward Wagner, talking about a variety of machinery you can run in SCCA.
In GT2, there are two types of cars competing: tube frame cars, which are purpose-built race cars, and tub cars, which start life as production street cars. To learn a little bit more about the tube cars, we met up with one of the competitors, past champion Jim Goffrey, to talk about his Nissan. Jim, tell us a little bit about the history of this car.
Yes, we built this car in 1995, and actually the original tube chassis was designed to be a Mazda RX-7. And because they're basically generic race chassis, we're able to convert it to mount the Nissan engine, the Nissan body, and we've campaigned it as a Nissan since 1995.
Now, when we see the Corvettes and the Porsches out on track, those start as street cars. What does this actually start as?
This starts as a pile of tubing on the ground and then some racing components. But generally the tube frame cars are lighter weight cars. We have smaller engines. And surprisingly, even though the cars are vastly different, the parity on track is very, very close.
So very close racing in GT2 and two very different ways to do it.
Absolutely. When you have a tube frame car, you got a lot more adjustability sometimes in settings, suspensions, and the like. So that's pretty spectacular as well. And Jim Goffrey, he only has parlayed that car into 4 different national championship runs and 12 medals in his running of that car. As you see the signal there are 2 minutes to go for the release onto the grid. So looking forward to that unfolding, and this one should be a good one. The interesting thing, and it's unfortunate for Jim Goffrey, he's been chasing some issues this whole week. Normally he's right up near the front. He could only qualify back in the 14th spot. And when I was out working corners earlier in the week, had an off, pulled off at our track, and he said, it's just been this kind of week, and every once in a while, everything goes just a little off for you. But these GT2 cars now heading out onto the track and stationed down in pit lane. For a little bit more information is Hayward Wagner.
GT2 rolling out onto the track. This was once a class of all tube frame RX-7s, Porsche 944s, Nissan 300ZXs, etc. In recent years, the tub cars have come in, the Porsches, the Corvettes, the Vipers. Andrew Acalante on pole here in a Corvette, followed by a couple of Porsches, then Vipers. This is going to be a great battle of some really potent modern machinery here in GT2.
Absolutely right, Hayward. I mean, it has blended into that, hasn't it? You've got these GT2 Porsches, which are GT3 Cup cars and are absolutely solid, and up against some of the tube frame machinery. You've got Vipers that used to run in the Dodge Viper Cup. They're the ARX Viper, which is a special one-off Viper build. I mean, there's a lot of trick stuff in here and an immense amount of history.
Yeah, a lot of history there, and even that Chevy Monte Carlo you just saw there at Mark Rudin, I think that's like an old ASA car type deal. That's a road course, NASCAR kind of spec car there. So GT2, one of my favorite classes. I really like this because you get that parity, you get that mixture. There's a Sunbeam Tighter, Leroy Lacy that's racing in that class. So the Porsche GT3 car, the pole sitter Andrew Acalante last year at Road America in a different Corvette ran 11 seconds, was over the pole, I believe, 10 or 11 seconds on the pole. That gap's closed a little bit. That's a brand new car, 41 days from start to finish to build that Corvette and get to pole position here today.
Yeah, just a great story. John Cashadurian sits second, the number 83rd, and there is
the Black Dog Speed Shop Chevy Corvette. How about that? Back there, one of, we talked about Pro World Challenge a little bit earlier, Tony Gapel's car still being campaigned here in GT2, and that's that crossover that you talked about. Yep. We see that car here running.
That's absolutely fantastic, and there's that blend indeed, as Jeff said. Spencer Trenery, who's been running a lot of different things. In fact, earlier today, started 4th in the STL race and had a great run up into 3rd, actually led it for a little bit. In the number 55 Fantasy Junction Porsche that qualified 3rd. 4th, Mark Bowden, 09 national champion and on the pole in this class in 2010, 2011 in his fall line Porsche. Number 178 is Bill Brinkup out of Merced, California, was actually on the pole for the T1 race. Had a mechanical problem in the race and dropped back. But a lot of guys doing double duty here.
Yeah, in the same car, too.
Yeah.
So you run that car, put some slicks on it instead of the DOT tires, maybe some aero changes for the GT2 category, take an air restrictor out, some weight out of the car, and come race again. And he's sitting in 5th, hoping for a better result than he had in the T1 race where he was off in the first corner down there in the Andretti hairpin.
Well, and back in the 6th spot is Michael Von Quillick, who's one of the guys who used to race the Dodge Viper Cup in his Dodge Viper ARX. Scotty White, 0, qualified 7th. Scotty has already experienced the complete pendulum swing as he had a great 2nd place finish in the T1 race, but had a huge wreck in a race following that. So this is hungry time for Scotty White. Never won a gold at the Runoffs, lots of seconds. He'd like to do something about it, but boy, it's going to be tough to get by, especially that number 36 of Andrew Aquilani as the field out of the final turn, waiting for the green to start this 20-lap race. Late green. Wow, now there they go, and it looked like John Cashadurian may have timed that just a little bit better, and if he can get a little help down into turn 1, but you can see right there, that Corvette is a potent piece of machinery, gets the lead, bit of lock-up back. I think that may have been Brinkup, locking it up just a little bit as they get down into turn 1. It was actually Von Quillick.
Yeah, Von Quillick in the 2nd of those 2 Dodge Vipers. Terrible start for Scotty White. Not sure what happened with that Viper, but he's fallen back. But 1, 2, 3, as they started, that's the way they run.
Coming out of turn 3, making the run up, and already you can see Andrew Aquilani has eased away to the tune of about 5 car lengths. Looking there at the 114, Ken Muff. That is a tube frame Nissan 240 SX.
Yeah, started back in 9th all the way up to 5th now. Good run for him. He's under attack there by McQuith. Lock up there. The Brinkup come back to the inside.
Yeah, Von Quillick just, boy, that car skated when he locked up. I mean, that tells you about, the energy that these cars can generate.
And I'm not sure what tire he's on. He'd probably a radial tire, but you got the radial tires versus the bias plies tires on some of these GT2 cars. Interesting to see how these tires strategy is going to play out on these different makes and models of cars.
And Scotty White making up for that little bit of an issue on the start and has already gone around with Quillick locked up. And even with a big horsepower, we've talked about this so often, even with a big horsepower car like you certainly have in this class with those Vipers, you lock up like that, kill that momentum, everybody else is going to have the opportunity, and Scotty B. White just, he went by him.
It don't matter what class you're in, the results are always the same if that happens. Good shot there by Mark Bowden, looking for a better run than he had in his BMW M3, where that car got a little banged up in the T1 race. Doing a great job in a different car now, in a Porsche here in the GT2 class.
Absolutely, Fall Line fields a lot of different machines. They field them all very well, and a good battle starting to shape up here for 2nd between the 2 Porsches. That's the guys that qualified 2nd and 3rd, and they are running in lockstep here. Cashadurian and then the number 55 at the orange car with the white as well of Spencer Trenery.
Yeah, his dad, Bruce, they own that Fantasy Junction sponsor on this car too as well, and an exotic and classic car dealership and brokerage firm. Get a chance to go down, oh, big sideways off to the side there through the dirt, but they're based out in Berkeley, California. Get a chance to go tour their shop, and just absolute artwork in there. You look at automobiles and auto memorabilia there. Great to see that, running 3 different cars here this weekend out of that Fantasy Junction camp.
And having, I would think, running earlier today in that STL race, that can't hurt in terms of giving you, okay, here's what the track is like, on this specific day.
Yeah, but running a DC2 front-wheel drive Acura Integra versus a Porsche GT3 Cup car, got to be a little bit different driving style, but track time is track time no matter what you're in.
Absolutely. There goes Aquilani. Here's that battle for 2nd between the 2 Porsches down through turn 9. And even with that little bit of a lockup we saw from, or not lockup, but that moment from Cashadurian when he dropped the wheel, you can see he lost the momentum, but Trenery not able to get by him in the approach up into turn 5. And at that point, Cashadurian looking real strong. Here's a look at that NASCAR class car of Mark Rudin. And then there is Mr. Goffrey, James Goffrey Sr., in that beautiful Nissan tube frame machine. And he's starting to throw down some pretty significant lap speeds right now. Maybe they got all those problems sussed out that kept him so far back in qualifying.
Yeah, sitting in 11th right now. He was running about a 2.5 quicker than Jim Valdez right in front of him, and that number 27 actually gets around him. Now he's up to 9th there, so picked up 2 positions on that 1 lap.
Boy, he is absolutely flying, and as I said, in front of him is Rudin And taking a look at the times, that last lap he ran was 2 seconds quicker than Rudin, so a big opportunity here for him to come after that Monte Carlo.
Well, they had a lot of time. The last qualifying session for the GT2 class cars was on Thursday, so you got all day Friday to get everything ready and get it all set up and find all those bugs and work them out.
Well, as we've seen so often, when you have sessions like we've had here, it looks like he may have got the run. Let's see if he's able to get it done. No, now he's going to try and pop and get the inside under a braking move into 5. He's through. Now, boy, it looks like he was able to carry a lot of speed as even with making that little tighter entry in. Nice move by Goffrey.
Yeah, good run by there coming out of turn number 5 up into turn number 6. Got that Nissan 350Z hooked up a little bit and kind of on a rail. The next guy he's battling with is going to be Scotty White, and they're running identical lap times right now.
And as we've talked about, which is what I was getting to, is sometimes you get these abbreviated sessions with black flags and the like during qualifying. This may be the longest run that Goffrey's had here, and going, okay, did we make the right changes? And boy, it certainly looks like it, because he's got speed, and if he can catch up to Scotty White, there's opportunity for him to move up even closer here, because Scotty is charging as well.
Well, don't forget he started in the 14th position. He's up to 9th now. We still have that Sunoco Hard Charger Award to give away.
Yeah.
He's going to be a candidate in the running for that. A big battle here. Scotty White gets around the number 114 of Ken Muth.
Yep, I was just going to say that was a nice pass for position. That puts now Scotty White up into 6th. Muth, big lockup.
Yeah, I like the sponsor on that. It says, eat crab.
He is a seafood man, to be sure. And boy, Goffrey is coming on, no question. The speeds that he is throwing down now, there it is. I mean, that Nissan has come alive, Jeff.
Yeah, 2 seconds quicker that prior lap than Ken Muth and Scotty White. Brinkhoff as well, right, pacing them. So good run here. Maybe get up into a top 5.
And Hoosier Tire Redline Oil Machine is working, no question about that. Goffrey is just immensely experienced, has run this class, as we talked about, for a long time, 4-time champ. You know, back when you had names like Finch and Davis and Peterson and Patton all running in GT2, Goffrey was one of the guys that was an absolute player with them, and he just continues to be a factor in this class. And boy, look at that. He has half that distance already.
Yeah, one of those staples that you see in sports car racing. When you talk about GT2, a lot of photos of this car I've seen on the cover of Sports Car Magazine, of course, the official magazine of the Sports Car Club of America. If you're not a member yet and want to be a volunteer or just membership, join the best sports car organization in the country. Go to SCCA.com.
And his son's won a couple of gold medals at the Runoffs in Formula Mazda action, so it definitely is a family of speed.
Yeah, back in the original Formula Mazda Day car. So that new Gen 2 car, the Pro car yet, we haven't seen that yet, but that's an interesting body on that Nissan 240Z right in front of him too of Ken Muth. You see the sharp edges coming off the back of that, and kind of a new style Nissan 240Z. Don't want to say Datsun, but yeah, 240SX model up there in that number 114. Still putting the pressure to Scotty B. White though. Scotty not able to pull away in that Dodge Viper.
Yeah, and I'm Muth running it wide, and that's just going to light the fuse even more for Goffrey. But obviously working very hard on aero management on that 240SX, trying to make that thing a little bit slipperier at the front, a little bit more aggressive in terms of grip as they head in now toward that turn number 3 or 4 at the exit of 4 now, up into 5, and Goffrey has definitely closed it up that last lap now at a 133.9. And he was able to get, almost a second quicker than these guys. If he can keep this pace up, there's a lot of race yet to go, Jeff. We got 3/4 of this one to go. And if Goffrey can get through these guys cleanly, he's got opportunity here.
Yeah, when he's by himself, his best time's a 33.7. Third place, Spencer Tierney just did a 131.7 and a 131.5 for John Cacciadorian in front of him. Andrew Alacalante, he's just tattooing the field right now, a low 130-minute lap time, so he's checked out and gone. But, you know never how this is going to play out, what's going to happen. You got a lot of cars still to pass to get to that final podium position and maybe sneak another medal out of here for Goffrey, but he's got a long way to go and a hard charge to do it, but he's got a lot of time, still 15 laps left.
Well, Aquilani was on pole by about 1.5 seconds, so he certainly had pace. And, yes, there's no question that Phoenix Performance prepares a great car, so that car is going to be good, but you still got to wheel it. And keep in mind, folks, it's not like that car is so superior to everything else in the field. There are other Corvettes here, talking about Brinkhoff and some of the others that are top flight prep. It's just Andrew Aquilani is a superb driver, and that's what's happening now. But this is going to be the battle that's going to entertain us, I think, for a little bit. This battle, what was becoming now a 3-car battle for 6th, behind Scotty White, who's there, Ken Muth, and Goffrey, who is just inexorably drawing in.
Yeah, still picked up 0.7 of a second over this group there, and you see the gap now starting to close in. I expect him to be nose to tail by the time they cross the start-finish line next time by.
Boy, and Muth has really got the back end of that car off track quite a bit. He is really throwing it around. This is Robert Kelly, the upracing.com Chevy Monte Carlo, another of those stock car derived machines. And he just has had a tough run-up. Actually missed the first 2 qualifying sessions due to issues, and just has not had the pace he wanted. It looks like those problems continuing.
Yeah, making his second runoff start here for him at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, so not how he wanted to have his day go.
Nope, and here we go. Goffrey now on top of Muth as we head up into the corkscrew. He is there, and let's see just how quick he's able to deal with this if he can here. And of course, if they get into a little bit of a scrap, that's going to be exactly what Scotty White wants to see in his mirrors of that Viper, as those 2 guys running. But boy, Muth got through the corkscrew and down through Rainey extremely quickly.
Yeah, Goffrey was kind of closing in a little bit, and then Muth just says, nope, I see you coming, I'm going to go ahead and go. But wow, look at the closing distance he does down there in the braking zone in turn number 11.
Boy, that car is dialed on the binders, no question, as they come out of the final turn, complete another lap, lap 7 of 20 in the books. And here comes Goffrey. He's close enough, and those brakes work, and Muth going to definitely defend a little bit, and Goffrey as a result. And one thing about Jim Goffrey Sr., he is the consummate gentleman. He will race you hard, but it will always be clean. Ooh. And he will throw it around if he needs to.
Yeah, slide it through the Andretti hairpin on the exit. And that's one of those corners you come off. It's a double apex. Some guys make it a single apex, but you're always fighting for grip. Looking down to the inside of turn number 4.
Boy, he got through there really good. Now it's just making sure he doesn't overrun the exit, and that was perfection, Jeff.
Yeah, sure does. That goes right up into the 7th place now. Up from 14th, picked up 7 positions, going for that 6th place now. Got a quick shot there on the run up the hill to the corkscrew earlier. Saw Mark Kerbor's Porsche 928 pulled off to the left. Unfortunate for him, he's pulled off right there at the top of the corkscrew.
Yeah, you make that long haul, get out here, want to go racing, and find out you've got some sort of an issue and it doesn't completely unfold. And there is your leader, Mr. Andrew Aquilani. Now let's take a look, get the official margin. It was pretty significant a couple laps ago the last time we checked, and it's going to be even bigger. Boy, he is throwing down laps. That was a 1:30.7, and that's not necessarily one of his quickest.
No, not at all. 7.6 seconds is the gap now back to John Cachadorian. And John's not, no slouch behind the wheel as well. He's got that beautiful 997 GT2 Cup car, the black, red, and white one. But we did see him dropping some wheels off, really trying to push to try to maintain that pace with Aquilante. And he's still holding down that second position over Spencer Tierney, pulled about 3 seconds over 3rd place.
Yeah, Cachadorian, a former bronze medal winner, last year Road America in the GT2 category. So certainly has the pace and the credentials. Was 2nd in the Northern Conference of the U.S. Majors Tour this year. He had 6 wins with almost 5 pole positions basically, so a really strong run there. But it's just that Aquilani right now, this car is just dialed in. Andrew, like I said, a superb driver, does a lot of racing in the Continental Tires Championship, and we've even seen him, I think, at a few Pro League World Challenge races in the past. So the guy can certainly get the job done in anything. There's a look at the 3rd place car of Spencer Trenery. A busy lad this weekend, as you pointed out. He said, racing like 3 different classes here, and actually led one of the races earlier today. Uh-oh. That's a lot of smoke out the back.
Bill Brinkhoff's car having more issues here this weekend, but he's going to pull right off to driver's right. Nice, safe place there onto the side off. Very great gentleman there.
Yeah, and that was the reports that he was oiling a little bit, so getting it off that fast and getting it up to the outside where he's well offline can allow this race to continue without a caution. That is an absolute class move by a driver to try his best not to affect the race when something goes awry.
Yeah, was running 5th place, so absolute devastating for him. So we'll have to be careful too. You got to watch for fluid coming up to the top of that corkscrew. Make sure there's no fluids down. I'm sure the SCCA course workers will be looking at that, and they'll radio ahead, and SCCA Club Racing will make a call if there is any fluid, because safety is number 1.
Well, without a doubt, there's the number 80 once again at Cachadorian. You see the Chicago Motor Cars Gray Fox Racing logo on the side of that beautiful Porsche, and really pushing hard, keeping Spencer Trenery at bay as we are now coming up a couple of laps to the halfway point here in GT2. Up the hill. Now this is where they were saying there might be some of that fluid down, Jeff.
Yeah, we got to be careful. You watch up here into the braking zones where we should see it, where we saw that initial smoke, but couple cars have already gone through there. No, there it is. He locks the brakes up. Big lockup in the right there. Not sure if that was a fluid issue or if it was just a little exuberance into the top of the hill, but Boy, huge right front lockup. That's gonna vibrate the steering wheel a little bit.
Yep, you get that flat spot on there, and every time that tire rotates through it, it's going to, as you said, generate the vibration. And if it's bad enough, every time you go to the brakes, the tire hunts for that flat spot, and then it just finds it and parks it there, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. So he's going to have to be extremely careful on the brakes now, and that's maybe the opportunity that Trenery needed here. If he could just hound him and keep him pushing too hard, locking that brake up. That's what this guy, Trenery, the number 55 Fantasy Junction Porsche, is interested in right now.
Yeah, 7/10 of a second lap last time by was Spencer was quicker, so definitely trying to run him down. And seeing that smoke makes that kind of smile a little bit, saying, hey, maybe I have a better chance now to catch up there. But sitting for his second straight podium today is Spencer Tierney, looking for that.
Yep, watching, they have a couple of different, and again, yeah, you see Cacciaturian, and Spencer is definitely closing, and Cacciaturian is struggling just a little bit. Been watching the last couple of laps, particularly through turn 3. They run two very different lines through there. Cacciaturian tends to go in a little deeper, turn it a little harder, and square the corner up, and Trenery turns in a little sooner and floats it way out. Yet it was Cacciaturian dropping those left side tires off of the exit of 3 on this lap, which just tells you he's really feeling the heat here.
Yeah, he's really trying to push, not only to try to catch Andrew Alcalante, but maintain that second position over the hard-charging Spencer Tierney. A little better through the corkscrew was he this time, though. Didn't lock those brakes up, but wow, what a great run. Just clips that point there as lap traffic still. That number 66, Robert Kelly, back underway. Slow, not at pace, but trying to work the issues out in his Chevy Monte Carlo.
Yeah, as long as you can stay out of the way, that's good. And obviously, you've worked hard to get to the runoffs. A finish is, at least a nice thing to be able to say instead of sitting in pit lane. So he's not at the speed he wants to be, but at least he's hoping to bring it home for a finish as we continue to watch. That's going to be interesting to see just what the margin is. Last time by, the margin between these two guys was about 2.7 seconds. And it's down to 1.4. So Trenery is on the charge, so before he closes in too much, we're going to take a quick break here in our battle for the championships in GT2 from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, the SCCA's National Championship Runoffs. We'll be right back. The 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs are being brought to you in HD by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. And by Hankook, driving emotion.
Some people go to enormous lengths in the name of safety, like the inventor of the flame-resistant racing suit, Bill Simpson. Courageous engineering is also the Mazda way, and why the 2014 Mazda 3 has an available class-exclusive suite of 8 safety features and a top safety rating. Because when it comes to safety, you can never go too far. This is the 2014 Mazda 3. What do you drive?
This is Kenny. Kenny is a dentist, but he races autocross on the weekends. But he's not thinking about his tires right now. Kenny buys all his tires from TireRack.com. Using their exclusive test track reviews, he knows he's always getting the right tires for his car. But Kenny's not thinking about tires right now. Kenny's thinking, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This is awesome. TireRack.com, proud sponsor of the Tire Rack SCCA National Solo Program.
The machines and their manufacturers span the planet. This is no spec series. Diversity breeds excellence and brings battle. Ride with the best and test the iconic circuits of North America. No pit stops, no quarter. The world watches and knows this is how racing should be.
We are back. That is John Cacciaturian, the Chicago Motor Cars Gray Fox Racing Porsche GT3 Cup machine. This is the run to the medals, and hopefully the gold, obviously, in GT2. That is second place Cacciaturian. He is being reeled in by that car, the number 55 Fantasy Junction Porsche of Spencer Trenery, who has closed it up and taken that margin down on our last lap. The gap now down to 1.3 seconds. And Trenery is definitely starting to charge it. Another guy who's had a great run, Jeff, is the number 35 of Robert Kahn in the Corvette.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Started back in the 12th position up to 7th, and he's one spot behind Jim Goffrey. If he can try to eclipse that, remember we had the Sunoco Hard Charger Award. It's going to become a battle to see who can win that specialty award.
Absolutely, and of course we'll be keeping our eye out for a GoPro Be a Hero Move of the Race Award. The Hero Move of the Race Award candidates as well we're watching as we watch this great battle. I mean, Aquilani right now, the margin he's up to now 13.4 seconds, just consistently clicking off high 131s, low 132s. But here's the story. That margin now, again, Khachaturian and Trenery, about the same this time by, right in that 1.5 second range. It's kind of going a little over, a little under, a little over, a little under. But Khachaturian, you can see he is still, the back end of that car is wheeling.
Yeah, 7.5 laps left here in this race, so still got a little bit of time. Maybe Spencer can try to run him down. And either way, if he runs the way he is and finishes the way it is, he is going to get his second podium of his young career. Rookie.
There is Khan, who has come up, as we said, from well back into that 7th spot, the number 35, and that is a very familiar look to that car, as you pointed out, from the Black Dog Speed Shop, and he is giving it a Black Dog Speed Shop worthy ride right now. It's one of those cars with that V8 engine in it, but it's got that high whining sound, and it's basically the exhaust system on it. It's a very narrow pipe with a crossover flow on it, and it just gives it that high-pitched whine that I think is just spectacular.
Yeah, it sounds so good. That big pushrod V8 just sounds so beautiful in this car, and that's the LG Motorsports headers on this car all the way to that exhaust system. Just makes it spool up and whine. Sounds like a high pitch, like you're pulling 19,000 RPMs out of the back of that Corvette.
I know, it is wicked cool, isn't it? And he has given it a ride. The problem for him is, as he's made that great charge, his deficit now, even though he's running fairly quickly, he's hit that part of the pack, Jeff, as is always the case. And when you start farther back, the closer you get to the front, those passes are a lot harder to make. And the reason is he's running some really quick laps with the guys in front of him, Goffrey, Scotty White, Mark Bowden, running virtually identical lap times. So now he needs a little bit of help.
He needs a lot of help. He's going to make it through there from Las Vegas, Nevada, the RK Racing Chevy Corvette. Good to see him in a local West Coast making his first Pearly World Challenge. Pearly World Challenge. I saw Tony Gaples' car. I'm thinking, hey, there we go.
Natural line.
Yeah, I say that far too often here, but making his first 2014 SCCA National Championship runoff start.
And up into the 7th spot right now, it's Aquilani, Khachaturian, Trenery, your top 3. And Trenery now in some traffic, runs it wide out of turn 5, Jeff. And that killed him. He could have maybe, he is going to be able to sneak through and make that pass on the number 9 of Wayne Graham, the Mariah Motorsports RX-7. But I thought for a minute that little drop of the tires was going to keep him behind him through 6, which was really going to hurt.
Yeah, that gap was 1.4 seconds. Spencer didn't want to lose a drop of that, did not want to get held up by that car through turn number 6. Just gets right close to that tire stack on the turn-in point there at the corkscrew. Not putting a wheel wrong, using every inch of the track. Hey, you paid to use it, you might as well use it.
Absolutely, and he is doing a nice job of that. Again, in 4th is Mark Bowden. He's been kind of quiet in terms of Bowden here. He's just been a really solid 4th. Then Scotty White completes the top 5. Goffrey is 6th, Kahn 7th, Rudin is 8th, 9th is Muth, and in 10th is the number 60 of Rick Mayer, who is, Rick Parker, my bad. And Rick Parker out of Parker, Arizona. Well, that's interesting.
I was going to say, is that the namesake of the city?
Exactly, in the Elite Customs Chevy Corvette as well. There's Mike Von Quillet going by, and then here comes that battle for that 2nd spot. Well, it looks like Trenery's closed it up again, hasn't he?
Yeah, 1.7 seconds is the gap now, so still in that 1.5 second bracket, little plus or minus from that 1.5 second. And I believe a lot of that was, he was a little bit closer, but that lap car that he got caught out of turn number 5 really affected that lap gap.
Absolutely, into 5 this time, and more traffic right in front of Khachaturian, and Trenery hoping that he gets bottled up a little bit as they get up to the top of the hill. Flowing through turn 6, looks like Khachaturian might catch him if he can get the pass made up into turn number 6. Nice job there. He saw the flags, and I think he gave him just a little bit of room.
Yeah, John Stout from Norco, California, the Hiss Motorsports, Apex Motorsports, 2nd generation Mazda RX-7 there. Good heads-up driving, knew that those were the leaders coming through, let them go by. Just happy to be here at the runoffs.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where those workers we talk about, the marshals around the track, with all those flags, they give you good information. If you find the time to take a look, it can be very helpful as they are coming up now. That's Michael Von Quillick that Khachaturian is closing up on him. McQuillick, he had qualified rather well up into the 6th spot, but he's just struggling a little bit here in this race.
Yeah, dropped down to 12th position as he runs right now, so the leaders past the top 10 I think Andrew's already put over the lap cars now. So great run once again for our leader there. No, just a great heads-up driving there by Quillich. Just pulls right off to the outside, lets him go right under him. No balk, no foul.
Yep, absolutely. Well done indeed. Here comes Trenery. And Michael Van Quillig, I know, looking in the mirrors right now, trying to figure out what I could do. And sometimes you just don't want the guy to help. You want to drive your line and let him come through. But there, that was classic. He just tightened up his exit a little bit and gave that outside line to Trenery, which is the fast line around, and let Trenery continue on in this battle as we have about 3.5 laps to go in our race in GT2. And Trenery, once again, you take a look at that margin between the two of them, and it's about the exact, right in that 1.5 second range. It just, it changes by 0.2 up or down, but always right in that window. Although right now, I think Cashadurian has been able to just sneak away, maybe up to about 2 seconds.
And watching Jim Goffrey, the last couple of laps that he's had have been in the 137 bracket, so he's lapping about 3 seconds slower than Robert Kahn in that Black Dog Speed Shop Chevy Corvette. I still call it like that too.
There you go.
But he's doing a great job in that RK Racing Chevy Corvette, catching Robert Goffrey. Here we see him there. Not sure if there's an issue there, if he drove it off a little bit, but certainly slacking and lacking in this as the later stages of this race.
Yeah, well, maybe just pushed it a little bit too hard. I mean, he was really throwing down some laps, trying to charge up through the pack. And so it'll be interesting to see, as you said, Kahn running about 30, what'd you say? Yeah, 3 seconds plus in that range. Then Mark Rudin sits 8th, Parker now up to 9th, and Muth has slipped back one more spot to 10th.
Yeah, Ken Muth, we talked about that beautiful bodied Nissan 240 SX that was down in the Nissan tent, and you'll see Colin Jackson in the GT3 category a little bit later, and those are like two sister cars and just absolute works of art. There's Kahn right there. You saw Goffrey a little bit earlier down the exit of turn number 9. That is the gap between these two guys, who was a little over 11 seconds last time by, so 3 seconds, you got to think within 3 or 4 laps. That's all that's remaining here. It might be a shootout for that 6th place here at the end.
Interesting line that Kahn runs down at the bottom, what they call 8A, the bottom of the corkscrew. He doesn't use up much of the track. He really gets it turned and only goes about half of the track. I don't know if that's, he feels that he gets him a better run through turn 9, but you just wonder if he's maybe not giving up a little bit of speed at the exit 8 down there.
Yeah, it's where you're comfortable to drive. You might have looked at the data and said, I'm faster if I go down through here, use that torque of that Corvette off the corner, kind of slingshot out of it. We'll have to see that. Yeah, kind of into the inside here at turn number 2, too. He's going to make it one big, long corner, hit your apex on the exit, and that'll be just a little, one corner out of 2.
Yeah, it's basically just really diamonding that corner, isn't he, running at that route through turn number 3. Taking a look once again. Yeah, that margin, by the way, Cashadurian to Trenery has gone up to 2.1 seconds at this point. And that last lap, Goffrey responded a little bit, a 35.3 to Kahn's 34.7. And that is going to give Goffrey still about 10 seconds. So Kahn's going to need a little bit more help than that.
Yeah, he's going to have to catch up here. We'll see where it transpires. Just about a half a lap here. We'll find out. There is Goffrey coming up to the top of the corkscrew in that Nissan 350Z. Down the hill, and you see just the car disappears right there out of that shot as he turns left, comes down the hill, back to the right again. Aim for the center tree, count to 3, and then turn the wheel back to the right.
That is just unbelievable. Kind of the same thing when you go down the front straight. When I got the ride around here, the guy that was giving me the ride, he goes, here's the hot ticket. When you come out at 11, he said, first of all, you point to, I think, the D on the bridge. You come through there, then you go middle tree. And that sets you up, and then you can finally see now where you need to go for the rest of it. That's craziness when you're driving at serious speeds and you're using those kind of reference points.
And I got to think you got to use the permanent landmarks, not the movable ones as braking points.
Yeah, that's rather key, isn't it? There's the number 4, Mark Bowden, that beautiful fall line machine. The company that he is the principal of, the racing team, Fall Line Motorsports, and is, as we said, kind of a lonely run here. Very good one in that 4th spot. He's a number of seconds adrift of Spencer Trenery in that 4th, and sits a few seconds clear, though, of Scotty White. The problem is that Bowden's been running 136s, and Scotty White's just uncorked another 134.3. So Bowden might suddenly see a black Viper looming in the mirrors of Cashadurian. A big plume of smoke getting a report. It was lap. That's not oil or anything. Apparently that is body damage, and apparently traffic in the corkscrew, we're getting a report, may have resulted in that damage, Jeff.
Yeah, he's down on pit lane. The crew will take a quick look at that and see if he can salvage anything to get back out there, but major damage to the right rear, and no, he's just going to pull it right there in the pitch, and you see that quarter panel pushed in on that tire. Oh, so unfortunate for his run, running in second place.
Now up into second, promotes this guy, number 55, Spencer Trenery, in that Fantasy Junctions Porsche, who's been good. And Mark Bowden suddenly finds himself up into a podium position, but we talked about it. Scotty White is running quicker right now than Bowden is, and we're coming up on, well, we just started the 2 laps to go on this one, so about a lap and a half when you figure in the where Aquilani sits right now on the racetrack.
And it was 4.4 seconds. That was the gap amid Bowden and Scotty White. So if he keeps this pace up, it might be a drag race out of turn number 11 up to that start-finish straight for that final podium spot in the GT2 class.
Right, so Aquilani out in front should be coming around and picking up the white flag this time by. And there is your second place car. There he is, Aquilani, down the front straight, completing lap number 19, 1 to go. And a huge margin. I mean, he has just put on the clinic today.
Yeah, he sure has. Led flag to flag, was never challenged whatsoever. Led all the qualifying sessions, was fastest, I believe, in each and every one. Brand new car that they built. Really posted it through Facebook and updates and everybody, keeping everybody abreast of this. And this is sort of the pinnacle of the Phoenix Performance team right here in the GT2 class on this Corvette.
Yeah, he's quite a performer, no question about that. The defending champ, 3-time champion overall in Runoffs competition, so certainly could get himself going.
Well, 4-time when he won that T1 here earlier yesterday. Looking for his 5th championship here today.
Boy, what a
That's
weekend.
awesome. There when you got 12 start and 5th championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Forgot all about that win that he had earlier, so he just continues to rack them up here. And one of the amazing things, you take a look at the number of starts he's had. You know, this is his now 12th start when you factor in that T1 race and this. And that number of championships and only 12 starts, that's a pretty decent ratio.
Yeah, a little less than half when you do the math there. That if you could start, if I could know I could win a national Runoffs championship and half the races that I started, I could sell some sponsorship for that.
You would certainly think so. Well, here he comes, last time out of turn 10 into turn 11. And there it is, turn in, starting to feed it throttle in that beautiful GT2 Corvette from Phoenix Performance. The checkered flag awaits. There it is, the flag flies, and backing up the championship from last year, doing the double, is Andrew Aquilani in GT2. An absolutely superb run. Trenery should be second, and it's a lonely one at that at this stage, and here he comes down into the last turn. It's an eye-catching car, no question of that. You know where it is on the track.
Yeah, it sure is. Looks really good there. And Mark Bowden answered the call to Scotty White. They had identical lap times on that last lap, so I don't think Scotty White's going to be able to run down Mark Bowden.
No, 4.4 seconds last time when they came by, so it would have to be a massive lap, obviously, by Scotty White to run down Bowden. There is Bowden. You can see, don't quite even see Scotty in the back. So, as you said, Mark Bowden apparently knew he didn't really have a shot at the 2 guys up in front of him, but when he had to have it, he had a little bit left in the quiver. And there it is, a podium once again for Mark Bowden. Tell you what a job he's done. What a year for his fall line team as a whole, when you consider that one of the drivers and the team winning the championship in the Continental Tire Grand Sport class. A good run there, and he adds to an amazing tally. He's now got 6 medals at the run-up. Here comes Jim Goffrey. Boy, did he give it a go. We talked about where he had qualified 14th to 4th. It's a pretty amazing run.
Yeah, good run for him. And don't forget, we have a lot of those special awards. The GoPro Hero Move of the Race Award and your Sunoco Hard Charger. But I don't think there's anybody in front of him that picked up that many positions from 14th all the way to 5th. That's 9 spots. So I can probably say without a doubt, barring a technical infraction, of course, or driving penalty, that Goffrey will be your Sunoco Hard Charger in GT2.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a superb run. And once again, we get word that the GoPro Hero Move of the Race Award is going to be just the drive that Andrew Aquilani put on once again. And you can't argue with that. When you have that kind of, I mean, you know, as you said, topping every session and winning it, going away from pole, putting on a clinic, well-deserved. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely there when you talk about that. And just a hero move, I think, was getting this car built in such short time and getting it out here at the runoff. So that's my vote, was the hero move, just getting this car ready and clinching his 5th SCCA Runoffs championship.
You just saw that official point you forward. That's the special one, because that means, no, you don't need to turn in to tech. You don't need to do anything. What you're going to go do is get a large bit of bling that's going to hang around your neck, the gold medal for winning a national championship. And as soon as he gets that window net dropped and the helmet off, I see our man, Mr. Haywood Wagner, is waiting down there to have a word with our defending national champion. That's a nice feeling, isn't it, when you double up like that, to be able to put 2 in a row together. And we're getting ready here. Looks like now they're getting some access in there. And let's get down to Hayward.
All right, we're here with Andrew Acalante, your defended national champion. Andrew, 2 years in a row in GT2, your 2nd championship this weekend here at Laguna Seca. The story, as I understand it, is this car coming together in record time to get you on track. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, it's great to do this again. I wouldn't quite say that was to plan, but you know, we were busy throughout the middle of the year, and you know, we decided, okay, we're going to go to the runoffs, and we pulled out of some other things and put this car together in 3 weeks and brought it here, and it ran on track for about 10 laps back home, and we came out, and it feels pretty good to do that, and that's what we like to do at Phoenix Performance. You know, it feels pretty good in that sense to build a car like this and to defend especially. So,
guys in the booth pulling some calculators out. They're thinking you're pretty close to a 50% win rate here at the runoffs in your history. What kind of a legacy do you feel like you're building?
You know, I mean, with what SCCA has done and made the runoffs a real event again and made it really exciting, you know, it feels really good to win 4 of these now in the past couple of years, because they're trying really hard to bring it back to its former prestige, and I think they're doing a great job at it. And you know, I mean, as you say about, you know, a 50% win streak, I mean, there were a couple of rough years, but so I don't, you know, I'm not really thinking about that. You know, I just want to, no national championship is easy to win, and it feels a really good accomplishment to do it. And you know, you need a lot of stars to line up, and you need a lot of things to happen, because, for instance, about 5 laps to go, I got a voltage warning. So, you know, it wasn't in the bag by any stretch. So.
Well, it's a testament to you and your crew how easy you made this one look, Andrew. Congratulations to you. We're going to get a medal around your neck and send you out on a victory lap. Next up, we're going to see if we can find Spencer Trinery. Spencer, our second conversation today. 1 spot forward from this morning, if I remember correctly. How was your race?
Yeah, this race was basically uneventful. I ran on Yokohama's today. John in front of me ran on Pirellis. We know Pirellis to be really good out of the box. It's hotter this afternoon than it was this morning. We were hoping that he'd fade back about half race distance into us. We were just being patient, but that didn't seem to happen. And so I started pushing a little bit about lap 6 or lap 7, caught up to him a little bit, put a little bit of pressure on him. And unfortunately for him, he made a little bit of a mistake. And with lap traffic at the top of the hill, he got collected. And I don't think he finished, but that gave us the 2nd place.
There's a beautiful car that you're in, the Porsche 911 with the Fantasy Junction sponsorship. You had some teams today just kind of be by yourself and turn some laps. What kind of an experience is that here at Laguna Seca?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, this is a beautifully balanced sports car to be in here at a sports car favored track. And so I can't complain, man. It's 40 minutes of beautiful activity. I'd really like to thank Ben Kirshner and Greg Kirk at Retro Sport for all their prep, and for Fantasy Junction for all their support during the year.
Great, congratulations on the silver medal. Going to move to our bronze medalist next, if we can chase him around the car a little bit. Looked like towards the end of that race, you kind of got into a rhythm, and then maybe got a radio call that said, hey, Scotty's trying to run you down. Did you turn the wick up there a little bit?
Well, yeah, I was having some braking issues. I was locking up quite a bit, and I wanted to make sure I didn't kill a tire. I'm not sure what was happening. I kept turning the bias knob and it kept doing the wrong thing. So I just, I knew there was nobody behind me, and I didn't have the pace to catch him in front. And I was in preservation mode. And then when I saw Scotty coming up and got the radio call, I decided to man up a little bit and take my chances with my square tire.
Now, our guys in the booth were talking about what kind of a year Fall Line Racing has been having. Talk to me about this team.
Oh, you know, we've had a great team between all the guys that club race with us and enjoy SCCA and these big events like the runoffs that are, you know, as I tell all my guys, you know, if you come to the runoffs and you you have a great time and you come out of here a better driver, you won. If you happen to have some metal around your neck, that's icing on the cake.
Well, you got a nice piece of icing there to take home with you.
Got two. So two bronzes, and you know, winning the championship with our Continental Tire team was phenomenal. And we have another race to go, so hopefully Fall Line can come out of here with a national title again.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. Congratulations to you on the third. There's your top 3 in GT2 here at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca.
What a top 3 they are. Pretty spectacular at that. And this guy is something else. This team is something else. It doesn't matter where they run. I mean, you know, I was looking back when a guy named John Heinrichsey won his first national championship in GT1. You know who did the prep on the car? Phoenix Performance.
There you go.
They have an amazing history here.
Yeah, in SCCA runoffs competition, professional competition. We see them in the Continental Series, Pirelli World Challenge, and good to see him back in the championship. 5th championship for Andrew Aquilante.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at our unofficial race results. There's your podium again. Aquilante, Trenery, Bowden, Scotty White, 4th in the Viper, 5th in the Nissan GT2 tube frame car, the number 46 at Jim Goffrey, 6th the number 35. Coming after him was Robert Conway. What a ride he put in. Rudin, into the 7th spot. 8th the number 60 of Rick Parker, 9th Michael Von Quillick, and rounding out your top 10, the number 7 of John Stott in the HIS Motorsports, Apex Motorsports Mazda RX-7. So GT2, the national championship, is decided here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for this 2014 SCCA National Championship runoffs. And again, I mean, just a bit of a clinic put on, a little bit more gap than we may want to see in terms of some fierce battling. But one thing that we know, nothing was left on the table out there when you watch what these guys had to do.
Yeah, even with Andrew Aquilante said it the best in his winter circle interview, said I had a voltage warning right at the end with 5 laps to go. So you never know. You could have a 2-lap lead and lose it right there at the end.
Well, we've heard a number of guys, we talked to you there too, that say, it looked easy, what was going on? Well, I had a braking issue, I had this and that. You survived the runoffs, and you do that well, as Bowden said. That's great. You get some bling around your neck. That's icing on the cake, and this one has been a good one. Congratulations to Andrew Aquilani on another national championship. That's it for the GT2 National Championship runoffs. For Jeff Lepper and for Haywood Wagner, I'm Greg Creamer. Thanks again for joining us here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Take care. The 2014 SCCA National Championship runoffs are being brought to you in HD by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. And by Hankook, driving emotion.
Some people go to enormous lengths in the name of safety, like the inventor of the flame-resistant racing suit, Bill Simpson. Courageous engineering is also the Mazda way, and why the 2014 Mazda 3 has an available class-exclusive suite of 8 safety features and a top safety rating. Because when it comes to safety, you can never go too far. This is the 2014 Mazda 3. What do you drive?
This is Kenny. Kenny is a dentist, but he races autocross on the weekends. But he's not thinking about his tires right now. Kenny buys all his tires from TireRack.com. Using their exclusive test track reviews, he knows he's always getting the right tires for his car. But Kenny's not thinking about tires right now. Kenny's thinking, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This is awesome. TireRack.com, proud sponsor of the Tire Rack SCCA National Solo Program.
The machines and their manufacturers span the planet. This is no spec series. Diversity breeds excellence and brings battle. Ride with the best and test the iconic circuits of North America. No pit stops,